Banks don't play around when it comes to foreclosing homes. In fact, even our favorite celebrities aren't safe. You would think having a star on the Walk of Fame might give them a pass, but nope, it doesn't stop the bank from knocking on your door. So today, we'll tell you about the 15 super famous stars who probably never saw it coming and got foreclosed on. Get ready to be shocked. Number 15. Rihanna. Rihanna is a self-made billionaire and a highly successful entrepreneur. So it might come as a surprise that she's on a list about foreclosed homes, but it's not what you think. The foreclosure wasn't due to her financial problems. Instead, it was someone else who put her in trouble. Back in 2009, Rihanna purchased a home for $6.9 million. However, this investment quickly turned sour as the property began showing serious issues, including several leaks that made it unlivable. Faced with these unexpected problems, Rihanna took a hit and listed the home for $4.5 million. Ultimately, it sold in a short sale for just over $5 million. But Rihanna wasn't going to sit back and silently suffer the loss. Nope. She turned around and sued the developer, her real estate agent, and the inspectors. She stood up against negligence and accountability. And that's the attitude we need. Like Rihanna, Jay-Z didn't let it go without a fight. Number 14. Jay-Z. In 2007, Jay-Z made a risky deal that didn't quite pan out. He set his sights on the hotel industry because he wanted to launch his own hotel empire named J Hotels. He wanted his first hotel to be opened in the heart of New York City. To kickstart his venture, he took a massive leap. A $52 million loan, to be exact, which he personally guaranteed in return. However, timing wasn't on his side. The real estate market was about to face a seismic shift, and that included the commercial sector. Now, as the market downturn hit, New York City's real estate wasn't spared. So the hotel went into a loss. Eventually, he couldn't keep up and defaulted on the loan. But as we said before, Jay-Z didn't want to just let it go into foreclosure. He tried to hand over the property to Highland Capital Management LP and NextBank SSB, who were the lenders. He made this move to avoid formal foreclosure proceedings. Unfortunately, when the lenders didn't accept the property back, Jay-Z found himself accruing more fees and interest. This prompted him to take legal action and sue them, and it ended up costing him $50 million and his dream of an incredible hotel. Unlike Jay-Z, this next celebrity found a clever way to pay his loan and make it fun too. Number 13. Michael Jackson. In 2008, Michael Jackson was facing multiple problems at once. His famous Neverland Ranch was about to be foreclosed, he had massive pending legal bills. And on top of all that, he was in a long trial for child molestation charges. This trial was all over the news, and it was costing him a lot of money. So how did Michael save himself and his home? Well, Neverland wasn't just a house. It was huge, with its own zoo and amusement park. But keeping it all going cost around $10 million every year. And that's a lot of cash to keep up with. So, Michael decided to auction off some of Neverland. This meant selling the zoo animals and the rides from the amusement park. It was a tough choice, but he had to do it to save his home. By auctioning these things off, he managed to stop the foreclosure. It was a close call, but Michael found his way out. But it wasn't just Michael from the Jackson family who got foreclosed on. Number 12. LaToya Jackson. LaToya Jackson, or Michael Jackson's sister, found herself in a financial bind in 2011. Well, at that time, she was doing a role in a reality show. Maybe she was too busy with that because she ended up not paying her bills. This led to her Las Vegas condo going into default. Eventually, it was auctioned off to the highest bidder. She bought the condo in 1996 for $260,000. But over the years, things got complicated. Several liens were placed on the property. Because of this, the amount she owed to the bank skyrocketed to nearly $750,000. We don't know for sure whether she couldn't pay or just forgot about it. The good thing is that after this financial hiccup, LaToya recovered. She continued to appear on reality shows. And despite the setback with her condo, she didn't let it stop her from staying active in the entertainment world. LaToya did not get as much fame or money, and her financial problems showed us that. But could you imagine being the highest paid actor globally and still struggling to pay the mortgage? Well, this is true for the next celebrity. Number 11. Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker. You might know him from the popular Rush Hour franchise. But did you know he was once one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood? He got a staggering $20 million for Rush Hour 2, and an even more impressive $25 million for Rush Hour 3. So yeah, we can conclude that he was richy rich. Now, when he was riding high on this success, he bought a massive $6 million mansion. It was perfect for his new high-flying lifestyle. But things took a turn in 2011. People magazine broke the news that his mansion was facing foreclosure and that the situation was quite serious. His monthly mortgage payments were nearly $26 grand. To make matters worse, he owed over $4 million to the bank. Now, that's a huge amount. The bad thing is that he lost his house, but the good thing is that he's managed to sort things out since then. Reports suggest that he has cleared his debt and is back on track after that financial setback. Now, Chris Tucker was struggling with just his finances when he lost his home, but this next person had his whole life fall apart. Number 10. Damon Dash. Damon Dash is the famous ex-partner of Jay-Z, and several years ago he was struggling with some significant financial problems. His troubles began after he split with his former wife, Rachel Roy, in 2004. This divorce hit him hard financially, leaving him with a big $20 million bill. And guess what? We found some court records that gave us some spicy details. We found out that Dash faced a series of lawsuits, which he lost. These came from various sources, including landlords, fashion designer Charlotte Ronson, and even a celebrity bodyguard firm. Each lawsuit piled on more financial pressure. Things got even worse in 2010. Dash lost not one, but two multi-million-dollar Tribeca lofts to foreclosure. The mortgages on these properties were massive, totaling about $7.3 million. After losing such significant assets, he reached a low point on his financial journey. But despite these challenges, Dash has managed to turn things around. He's now living comfortably in North Carolina. Unlike Dash, this next super famous person could not manage to get back on her feet. Number 9. Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton, the beloved R&B songstress known for her emotive love songs, faced a series of financial challenges. And you won't believe it, but things got so much worse that she filed for bankruptcy twice. Despite selling over 15 million copies of her second album in 1996 and enjoying immense success with hits like Unbreak My Heart, Toni struggled financially, but she successfully hid her financial troubles from the public eye. The first bankruptcy filing came in 1998 after a legal battle with her record label Arista LaFace. This conflict revealed the inadequacies of her recording contract, where she was receiving only 33 cents per album, making it impossible for her to earn significant money from her album sales. Then came 2010, and she filed for bankruptcy again. This time, her debts were from $10 to $50 million. This second filing came with several health issues, including a lupus diagnosis and a heart condition, which forced her to cancel a series of Las Vegas shows. The combination of her immense medical bills and reduced income from canceled performances worsened her financial situation. As a result, she faced foreclosure on her properties, including a $2.6 million Nevada home. Where Toni Braxton lost it all, this next celebrity found a loophole. Number 8. Fantasia. Fantasia is the talented winner of American Idol 2004. Unlucky for her, she faced some financial challenges with her North Carolina home. So what happened is that in 2007, at the peak of her fame, she bought a $1.3 million mansion in North Carolina. However, she started experiencing financial troubles and defaulted on a $58,000 loan. This default eventually led to the mansion being in foreclosure. Despite her efforts to save the home, including a short sale attempt, she couldn't find a buyer. Finally, in 2013, Fantasia chose to transfer the deed back to the bank through a quitclaim deed. This clever move allowed her to avoid a foreclosure on her credit report. This was a good move, but it didn't save her house. But this one step helped her get back in the game. In 2010, she purchased a new home in North Carolina. During the COVID-19 lockdown, she even held a virtual concert from this new residence, which went kinda viral. Fantasia lost one of her homes, and it was as hard on her as it could be. But then think about what this next person went through when he lost not one, but 2 homes to foreclosure. Number 7. Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was once a star guard for the Sixers and the Nuggets, but unfortunately, he faced some serious setbacks with his real estate investments. In 2013, he lost his Atlanta mansion to foreclosure. This wasn't just any home, though. It was a sprawling, nearly 10,000 square foot home that Iverson had built for $4.5 million in 2009. The trouble began when he defaulted on a $1.2 million mortgage, and the mansion, valued at almost $5 million, was eventually sold back to Georgia Primary Bank for $2.5 million. This financial difficulty coincided with personal challenges, including a divorce. But this wasn't the first time Iverson faced foreclosure. Let's step back into 2011. At that time, Allen was playing for the Denver Nuggets. He had a beautiful $3.875 million mansion in Cherry Hills, Colorado. But he lost it due to mortgage default. And before that, he had a mansion in Pennsylvania, which was on the market for 3 years with a $6.3 million asking price, but ultimately sold for $2.6 million in 2010. But Allen is smart. He got back on his feet through smart business investments. This time, he stayed away from real estate, and today he lives in Alpharetta, Georgia. However, it's not just Allen who lost his beloved home to foreclosure in Atlanta. Number 6. Nas. Next, we have Nas, the famous hip-hop rapper. In fact, he's regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time. Now, back in 2004, he bought this beautiful mansion in Atlanta for $585,000. Fast forward to 2012, and Nas found himself in a jam. He was in debt and owed about $507,000. Because he couldn't keep up with the payments, his home was foreclosed. At auction, it sold for just $348,500. Imagine that! A house he paid over $500,000 for, going for way less. We can imagine how difficult it would have been for Nas to let go of that house, because the house wasn't just any regular home. It was a sprawling 3,500 square foot property, decked out with a walk-in pool, a hot tub, and even a custom theater. Not to mention the gym for those workout sessions. Unfortunately, he lost it all. Now, onto the brighter side of things. Despite this real estate bump, Nas didn't just take the hit and stay down. Nope, he turned his fortunes around. Today, he's sitting on a net worth of about $70 million. Quite the turnaround, right? But some could not get this turnaround no matter how much they tried. Like this next celebrity whose financial troubles kept piling up. Number 5. Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds was the star of hits like Smokey and the Bandit, Deliverance, and The Longest Yard. But unlucky for him, he faced some tough times financially. After a high-rolling career in the 70s and 80s, his fortunes dipped in the 90s. First, he faced a costly divorce in 1993 that really hit his wallet hard. By 1996, he was swimming in $10 million of debt and had to file for bankruptcy protection. He tried to make a comeback, scoring a hit with Boogie Nights in 1997, but it wasn't enough to steady his finances. In 2011, his financial problems continued when Merrill Lynch filed foreclosure papers against him. They claimed he owed $1.2 million in back payments on his Hobe Sound, Florida home. But whenever he was asked about his financial troubles, he would always deny about being broke and stated that he was just downsizing and selling memorabilia that he no longer needed. But now we all know the truth. Just like Burt Reynolds, this next super famous personality lost a home to foreclosure but kept denying it. Number 4. T-Boz. T-Boz of TLC fame definitely went through a roller coaster with her finances. In 2009, she faced foreclosure on her massive 10,000 square foot home in Duluth. She was behind on payments by over $530,000. But let us tell you about the twist in the story. T-Boz pointed out that it wasn't entirely her doing. She explained that her now ex-husband had put the home in her name, and that's how she got tangled up in the foreclosure situation. When asked about the ordeal, T-Boz had a pretty straightforward response. She denied being homeless and mentioned that during her last marriage, a bunch of properties were put in her name. It seems like she wasn't fully aware of all the details, especially when one of those properties was going into foreclosure. Recently, in 2020, T-Boz set the record straight about the rumors of losing her home. She clarified it was a property she once owned with her ex-husband. And as for her current living situation, well, she has a home where she lives with her daughter. Whether it's true or not, whether she knew it or not, all that we know is that she lost a home to foreclosure. Unexpectedly or suddenly, we don't know, but she lost one. Unlike this next celebrity who lost a home, yes, but everyone saw it coming from miles away. Number 3. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage needs no introduction. His fame started after his roles in classics like Valley Girl and Birdie, and his Oscar-winning performance in Leaving Las Vegas. But then came his financial troubles. He owed millions in back taxes, and guess what happened after? Yes, it led to the foreclosure of his $35 million Bel Air mansion in 2010. The mansion was auctioned with a starting bid of $10.4 million. Yep, less than a third of its original cost. But the bigger shocker is that there were no takers. You might be wondering why. Well, this Tudor-style mansion, which was previously owned by celebrities like Dean Martin and Tom Jones, was regarded as a frat house bordello, which is why nobody wanted to take it. It was finally sold in 2016. Just like Nicolas Cage, a classic star from the golden era, there was another icon who faced foreclosure. Not once, but twice. Number 2. Rick Derringer. Rick Derringer is the legend behind the 1973 rock anthem Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. He had a stellar career overall, with some impressive session and production work, and even discovering the quirky Weird Al Yankovic. But unfortunately, he hit a rough patch in his financial journey. In 2010, Derringer defaulted on a $46,000 line of credit, plus one other loan. This misstep led to foreclosure lawsuits. Unfortunately, he lost the lawsuits and got 2 of his Florida homes foreclosed on. While Derringer didn't want any of that to happen, it turns out the next person on our list wanted to get his property foreclosed on. Number 1. Millionaire. Millionaire was one of the most famous hip-hop rappers in the early 2000s, but the rapper made it to the headlines in 2006 for a different reason. This was TMZ who dropped the news about him buying a massive 7,000 square foot mansion in Houston for just over $2 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But unfortunately, the bank eventually foreclosed on this luxury property. Now, you might think it was terrible for him, right? But no, Millionaire himself shed some light on this. Turns out, it was part of his plan. He confessed that he was hardly ever home, busy touring and performing, which meant he couldn't really enjoy his grand abode. Plus, the property was drowning in mortgages, and the real estate market was also in its worst state. So what did our clever rapper do? Well, he decided to let the property go. Why cling to something that's more of a burden than a blessing, especially when the market is in its most unexpected state, right? So, yeah. Now that we think about it, we're sure that Millionaire made the right decision. But hey, these aren't the only famous people who had their homes foreclosed on. We've revealed some more famous names in another video, so don't miss out. Watch it now to see which celebrities struggled with financial problems and on the way lost their beautiful homes to foreclosure.